Cleo Parker Robinson grew up in Five Points, a predominantly African-American neighborhood in Denver. During her childhood, she and her family did not have the same rights as others due to the Jim Crow laws because her father was black and her mother was white. Cleo's rights were violated, which caused her so much pain and trauma that almost killed her. She took responsibility for her healing by creating a career as a dancer and choreographer, establishing her own studio and company, and traveling the world. She uses her voice and choreography to tell her story and the stories of others who have struggled. Today, her dance studio is more than just a place to dance. It is a place for all people of all ages to come together to express themselves freely without judgment, find themselves, and connect with others. Today, Cleo and her work are recognized locally and internationally, and she is known as a living legacy. In the 1950s, the United States was racially segregated. Jim Crow laws gave white people privileges that black people did not have and prevented black people from having the same opportunities. In Denver, Five Points became a multicultural neighborhood, mostly black, due to redlining and discrimination. It was also home to the famous Rostonian Hotel, a jazz club where many great jazz musicians such as Billie Holiday, Duke Ellington, Miles Davis, and Ella Fitzgerald performed. For Cleo, the Rostonian was her first home. Her father was an actor and musician, and her mother was also a musician. They lived in the apartments above the club. She would go to the club with her dad at night and was exposed to dancing, singing, music, and diverse cultures. At this time, interracial families were not treated equally. Cleo and her family faced extreme racism, and this made Cleo confused. She wondered why her parents were treated differently from each other and from her. For example, when she left Five Points, her family would be harassed by both white and some black people. She also remembers that Colfax was a race line, and when driving past, they would be followed and harassed by police. For many black people, crossing the race line meant that they would be shot and killed. During her young life, Cleo had rights that were violated. At the age of 12, she worried so much about her father being killed, she developed ulcers, which eventually caused her kidneys to shut down. According to an article published by Dance USA, Robinson recalls waking up one morning, her whole body swollen. Her kidneys had failed. She was rushed to the hospital, but Dallas medical facilities were segregated. At the Dallas hospital, her rights were violated, and she was not admitted in time to prevent heart failure. In another incident, Cleo explains that they would go to restaurants and sit and wait until they were served, no matter the harassment they received. In my interview with Cleo, she said, "We didn't realize that when Mama would say, 'Why don't we all go get ice cream?' Daddy would say, 'Mama, why don't we go over here to this one?' But she would want ice cream over there. And so even going to get ice cream, we would have to then be protesting. At restaurants, her dad would have them sit and wait to be served, and then after a while, he would go into the kitchen and ask if they needed help washing dishes or cleaning up. These experiences and many others made Cleo conscious of racism. She learned that fighting for her rights could be nonviolent and she could be strategic about fighting for her rights. Based on the reading from History.com, the civil rights movement was a struggle for social justice that took place mainly during the 1950s and 1960s for Black Americans to gain equal rights. For Cleo, the civil rights movement made her earn new rights. She fought for unity and built her own dance studio to give a voice to the voiceless. Her studio was an inclusive, safe space for people to be able to express themselves without judgment. If people had not fought in the civil rights movement, she might not have been able to have a studio with diverse people. Jim Crow laws violated the rights of Black Americans. I feel that then and now all U.S. citizens are responsible for ensuring that Black Americans' rights are protected. I think this because they are the people who vote and decide who the lawmakers are. Cleo grew up in an environment that completely shaped her identity. She was around and with people from different cultures, which taught her about unity and fighting for equality. She was also around music and dance all the time. In Cleo's words, "I got to be around different people from different races, and they were activists. They were all about making change. So right away I had this extraordinary music, and I had people who were coming together for a purpose. That's a special world. I was born into that." She also witnessed horrible violence and experienced hatred all around her. The Rostonian Five Points was a safe space for Cleo to be able to thrive and express herself. She was surrounded by people who came together to play music, dance, and sing at the club, which gave her the chance to witness and see how even during a very hard and hatred-filled time, people came together and created a community filled with joy. Cleo used dance to help overcome personal pain and trauma. She decided to create a dance studio to help educate others while also helping others get over their pain. This became her mission. According to the Denver Public Library, she was interested in using dance to help abused children, people dealing with addiction, and those with disabilities. In her choreography, you are able to see how she tells her story and other stories of resisting oppression and struggle. Cleo was deeply impacted by the civil rights movement. That is the time or event that made her realize what she wanted to do. She wanted to create equal rights for everyone, no matter your race. Cleo found that dance was a way to escape all of the pain and trauma she faced over the years. Cleo was so committed that when she turned 16 and got her permit, she would drive around everywhere to teach as many people as she could. Cleo had many different mentors at the early stage of her career: Maya Angelou, Katherine Dunham, and Arthur Mitchell. All of these people helped inspire her to start her own dance studio. According to my interview with Cleo, she said, "So my first dance studio was in a basement in Park Hill, and as I decided I wanted to teach every kind of dance that you can imagine, and I wanted to do dance for children that had special needs." Cleo wanted to build her studio in 5 Points because it was her roots. Her goal in creating her studio was to make an inclusive, safe space where everyone can feel loved. When talking about other dance studios, she said, "They're competitions. They will not honor authenticity or who you are. You have to be like whatever it is you see someone doing. And then if you do, or if somebody looks a little bit better or does that a little bit better, you've lost who you are." Cleo Parker Robinson, CPRD, has been around for more than 54 years. Cleo founded her company in 1970 with her late husband, Tom. CPRD honors the African diaspora while also creating what she calls a village. Today, they are expanding the facility and it will be renamed the Cleo Parker Robinson Center for the Healing Arts. The long-term impact of Cleo's work is that she has made the world a better place by leading future youth. She has established a unique studio and dance company. She teaches people that dance isn't all about technique and being perfect, and she educates others about the African diaspora, how to not judge others based on race, gender, religion, culture, or anything else, and tell stories about her life and the hardships of others. According to my interview with Cleo, she says, "Nobody else was doing what I was doing. No one. Nobody. I woke up with total responsibility all the time, and anybody who was around me, they had to be responsible. Anybody. My mother, my father, my husband, my son, my bro, my nephews, my nieces, anybody who was around me." When you join her studio, you learn to be compassionate and accepting of others. Each summer, she hosts an International Summer Dance Institute for kids where she brings in teachers from all over the world to teach different dance genres and cultures. Also, at the end of many shows, she speaks to the audience and has everybody stand and say, "Peace, love, respect for everybody." In a Denver Right article, they say, "Cleo Parker Robinson has become an iconic figure in Colorado arts. In 1989, she was inducted into the Colorado Women's Hall of Fame, and in 1999, President Clinton appointed her to serve on the National Council of the Arts. The Kennedy Center's Master of African American Choreographers series awarded her the center's highest honor, the Medal of Honor, in 2005. Cleo has won many awards that show and recognize all the incredible things she has accomplished over the years. One of her more recent awards was the 2023 National Medal of the Arts, which she and the other founders of the International Association of Black Dance received from former President Joe Biden. All of these awards and honors recognize her accomplishments and show her dedication to making the world a better place. Cleo Parker Robinson, a Denver dancer and choreographer, has paved the path for youth and adults to not just dance, but to become compassionate human beings. In the world today, we need more people and places helping people struggling to find hope. Because of all the pain she faced, Cleo fights for the rights of Black Americans and the rights of everybody. Because these rights come with responsibilities, she feels that her responsibility is to teach others to not judge and make others feel included and loved no matter what. According to Cleo, "Okay, well, I'm in New Orleans now, baby. They do something different here. I have no judgment, I don't come with judgment, and I don't care about the judgment I get." CPRD impacts people today because of how unique it is. She provides scholarships for students to help them pay for classes. She cares so deeply about her students and wants them to be able to dance no matter what. I've been dancing at CPRD for 4.5 years, and it has helped me find who I am and helped me create strong connections with others. I feel welcomed and loved and a part of the village. I recognize my responsibility to make others feel the same. I hope people will always remember the words Cleo shared with me. Your destiny is already what your destiny will be. You have to do it in the most compassionate way. You have to accept all of the things that go on to make your path, and a dancer has a wonderful path.